Good evening.
He's the world's most popular spy, which isn't a great quality in a spy, come to think of it. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 reasons James Bond is a terrible spy.
40,500,000 all in.
Gombawa.
Konbanwa.
Look how well your charm works, James. They'll do anything for you, won't they? How many is that now?
That means we're assessing 007's secret agent methodology and looking at why it makes him a bad spy. So if you're listening, James, prepare to be shaken, not complimented. All right, let's get to the list. Number 10, he destroys everything. A big part of espionage is subtlety, something that James Bond clearly lacks. It seems that whenever there's a mission or objective, James seems to find the most Hollywood way of completing it, which is to say he ends up blowing up a building, car, henchman, or embassy, which probably costs the taxpayers a ton of money in the process. Whatever happened to tracking a bad guy with satellites and technology? All we're saying is if there's a wall, then he'll crash through it and make a big mess instead of just simply using the door.
You see, Mr. Bond, I have a backup plan.
Uh-huh. So do I.
Number 9, he has a gambling problem.
$250,000. And I'd like to raise the limits to 5,000 a box.
Along with his tuxedo and Walther PPK, a deck of cards is integral to completing the Bond image. Why? Well, because he can't seem to stay far away from the tables.
Mr. Bond, I suppose you wouldn't care to, raise the limit?
I have no objections.
We know that in some missions, a little flutter may be necessary in order to gain information or maintain a cover, but Bond takes it to the next level. The guy has a serious gambling problem.
You seem to be unbeatable, Mr. Bond.
No, for the moment, this sort of thing can't last.
Even when it's not totally necessary, he can be seen nonchalantly betting millions. Money that probably isn't his, by the way, in order to satisfy his obvious addiction.
40,500,000 all in.
And his love of gambling clearly extends beyond the casino, as tackling seemingly impossible odds is a daily occurrence for him. Number 8, he never wears a disguise.
Good evening, Mr. Bond.
With him popping up all over the world and taking down huge criminal organizations, it's pretty safe to say that Bond would be feared and wanted by bad guys. So much so that they'd keep an eye out for him if he was ever to come snooping around. So why doesn't Bond ever wear a disguise? Even if the bad guys hadn't previously seen his face, surely he'd want to stay anonymous for the sake of future missions, right?
Yes. Considerably.
Surprisingly, Bond never seems to wear a disguise. Even Inspector Clouseau wore disguises.
What have you done with Inspector Clouseau?
Chief Inspector Clouseau. Sure, dear, didn't I?
Oh, Chief Inspector, that is fantastic.
Saying that, maybe it's for the best. We saw what happened when he tried to disguise himself as a Japanese man. Yikes.
Tiger said, from now on, you must do everything a Japanese style.
Number 7, he shows signs of being a psychopath. There have been many studies and discussions to suggest this, with a hell of a lot of evidence to back it up.
For England, James? No. For me.
For example, Bond kills without remorse. He's a renowned philanderer, and he fears nothing. Some may argue this makes him a great secret agent, and it does sometimes.
You must have followed us.
I think you got the point.
But as we've seen in the past, Bond's inability to fear bad guys and feel emotions for others can result in bad judgment. Bond's great when it comes to pulling the trigger, but when it comes to understanding people and keeping his impulsiveness in check, his psychopathy tends to get in the way.
Had no head for heights.
Number 6, he hangs out with the enemy. You can almost guarantee that Bond will get some FaceTime with the movie's main villain, or villains, before he actually has to.
I used to work for the British government. We kept dossiers on such people. British agent.
By the time the climactic final scenes are on screen, he is usually already hung out with, played cards with, had sex with, or had a round of golf with them.
This meeting is not a coincidence, eh? What's your game, Mr. Bond?
My game?
You didn't come here to play golf.
This goes back to the whole maintaining his cover thing.
That's one trick I've never learned. Perhaps you'll show me how it's done.
If Bond really wants to better his odds of catching a bad guy, why would he give them the heads up by approaching them beforehand?
You ski very well, Mr. Bond.
Plus, what if the villain realizes who he is straight away and just has him killed then and there? Goldfinger could have easily had him taken out by a sniper on his backswing. Number 5, he drinks a lot.
Can I do something for you, Mr. Bond?
Just a drink. A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred. Cool catchphrase, right? But have you ever thought about how strange it is that a secret agent's best, or at least second best, catchphrase is a drink order? Whether he's at a card table, pacing his room, or behind the wheel of his Aston Martin, Bond always seems to have an alcoholic drink at arm's length.
You know, I think I'll call that a Vespa.
Because of the bitter aftertaste.
No. Because once you've tasted it, that's all you want to drink.
Being sharp is crucial when everyone's trying to kill you, so getting drunk probably isn't the best idea. Plus, it gives bad guys a sure way of getting poison into your system, which has happened before. With Bond's history of drinking and the probable medical evidence of it, it's a wonder if he'd actually pass MI6's tests.
I'd like to start with some simple word associations. Just tell me the first word that pops into your head. For example, I might say day, and you might say
wasted.
Number 4, he's always getting caught. What's a Bond movie without an elaborate escape scene, huh?
Welcome. Please fasten seatbelt.
No matter how tied up Bond is, he always manages to slip out of the grasp of the villain, usually using a slick gadget. But wait, should he really be getting caught all the time? His specialty is supposed to be deft detective work and covert operations. Why does he keep blowing his cover? Not only could getting caught result in him being killed, but it also opens up the possibility of him being tortured and forced to give up sensitive information.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Stop getting caught already. Jeez. Number 3, he's a womanizer.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
The name's Bond. I believe you have a reservation for me.
We've been expecting you.
Good.
I hope you have a pleasant stay.
I'm sure I will.
You all saw this one coming. Aside from the fact that Bond's promiscuity is frustrating to watch, what with him gallivanting around like he's God's gift to women, and the fact that he frequently comes out with sexist remarks and butt slaps, any distraction from a mission is a no-go. And casually sleeping with women is a big distraction. Frequently sleeping with multiple women per movie, the act of doing so either wastes valuable time that could be spent spying, or gets him into trouble because it's a trap.
I'm awfully sorry to leave you, but I have to get off.
Everyone has their vices, right? But there's a time and a place, James.
Look how well your charm works, James. They'll do anything for you, won't they? How many is that now?
He takes things too personally. We mentioned that James is an unfeeling psychopath, but he's not a perfect psychopath, which is to say he can feel for certain things and people sometimes.
A coroner has been called for and is expected to deliver his full report within the next 3 days.
But when any empathy he does feel kicks in, it's usually fueled by a personal agenda and adversely affects the mission.
You said you weren't motivated by revenge.
I'm motivated by my duty.
No. I think you're so blinded by inconsolable rage that you don't care who you hurt.
Like in Skyfall, when Silver relentlessly attacks M, Bond takes it personally.
Too many people are dying because of me.
If he wants you, he's going to have to come and get you. We've been one step behind Silver from the start. It's time to get out in front, change the game.
And when any of his love interests are in peril, he's always quick to sideline the mission to save them. That's great and all, and it might make him a nice guy, but not necessarily an effective agent.
Don't touch me!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, he uses his real name.
I admire your luck. Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
So let's imagine Bond irons out all of the aforementioned flaws in technique. Let's say he wears a convincing disguise, he keeps a low profile, avoids getting caught, and stops wasting time drinking, gambling, and philandering.
Oh, yes, Mr. Bond. One of my associates spoke about you.
Nothing bad, I hope.
Well, all of that is rendered pointless when he walks into a room and says his name. Sure, the way he says it sounds cool, but the one thing you do not want to do as a secret agent is blow your cover. Regardless of whether or not James Bond is an interchangeable moniker, why reveal it? Why give bad guys the advantage?
Yes. I got the message.
They say Austin Powers is a joke, but at least he tried to stay undercover.
Allow myself to introduce myself. My name is Richie Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah.
So I heard a really dumb 007 joke the other day. What does James Bond's doorbell sound like? Dong. Ding dong. Okay, let's just breeze past that. So why do you think James Bond is a terrible spy? Or if you don't, tell us that too. Let us know in the comments. Or come tell me on my YouTube channel or on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton. Also, please watch this other video.